Hello, welcome to Perception Reflection. This is where we expand your vision and show you how to live your most empowered life. I'm Emily Wade, and I created Perception Reflection because I truly believe that transformational stories are such a powerful tool for our subconscious mind, so we are able to expand and live a life beyond our own limitations. So keep coming back here to find tips, tools, tricks, and stories that will help you expand your vision and live your most empowered life. So today, we're starting our first little chat with my story because I want you all to get to know me and understand why I can help, what life experiences I've been through, why I'm able to be such a transformational teacher. So, first things first, I grew up in Texas, and I always wanted something more for my life. I loved my family, my parents, my small community, but I knew that I wanted to live far away as young as I can remember. I was so inspired by my grandfather's stories of living all over the world that my mother and my grandmother, who were teachers, their lives, I always said, the last thing I want to be is a teacher. Joke's on me, because here I am coming to you today as a transformational teacher. But back then, my little self only knew of teaching in like a school district. And I didn't realize that life would lead me to all of the experiences that it did. So I would gain the knowledge to teach in a way that was very different from the rest of my family, to teach in a way that used my life experiences and the ways in which that I had to find healing on my own to help others after I was able to help myself. So how did that start? I was excited about the world and I wanted to see more. So started working when I was 14, started being a junior buyer, very interested in fashion. And being interested in fashion, where do you go in the United States but New York City? So off I went 2 days after graduation, and I moved to New York sight unseen. Well, that was quite an experience. Let's circle back and we'll come back to many stories in our time together on the lessons that I learned in New York. But one thing that stands out for me to tell you now is that I was doing my dream jobs. I was working in the fashion industry, working in media, marketing, having some wild and incredible experiences. However, I was anxious and depressed and miserable, even though I thought I was living my dream life. So, to continue that part of the story, to continue the catalyst that was 5th of July, my best friend passed away. And I felt it had nothing to do with me, yet I felt this undescribable guilt. Like, if I'm so miserable, if life is so hard for me, even though I'm doing everything I thought I ever wanted, why didn't that happen to me? Why her? So that was a little bit of a dark time, and I was going to therapy. I was trying Jerry Esther and Hicks, affirmations, Reiki. I was getting into alternative healing and still doing traditional healing with therapy and all, trying to figure out why I felt this guilt, even though, it was my friend's life and my life had such different paths, right? So I went to a transformational retreat, Esalen, And I connected with people that had been through things and didn't know how to heal, but were finding answers through storytelling, emotional regulation, meditation, using their voice, screaming. She seconded that one. We've got to use our voice. We've got to get it out. So in Esalen, I gained a lot of tools, but I came back to New York where I really dove into the foundational processes in which that changed my life. The first was Kundalini. So I stumbled upon a Kundalini class when I was going to The Class by Taryn Toomey. And that was an incredible, cathartic workout. It was a beautiful studio full of crystals, and I stumbled upon this Kundalini class. Well, after an hour, my life was never the same. Kundalini was like water to me. I needed it in my soul. And so 6 months later, I was in teacher training. However, there's one thing that I left out. I went to the teacher after class and I said, I need this. How do I use this tool to help me? And she gave me 2 exercises. Those 2 exercises were 6 minutes a day. That's it. And my life started to change. I started to feel like my head was above water, that I was able to really get my footing again. And my nervous system for the first time was regulated. And for the first time, I was able to tap into core beliefs that had gone dormant, lay dormant, that were holding me back. So a little educational moment. You may or may not already know this, but our core beliefs are created from conception to 8 or 11 years old. The science likes to argue between 8 and 11, but that's still so young. We have so much of our life ahead of us, yet 97% of our life comes from what we believe and what we think is possible from those core beliefs. So I needed to get in there and adjust mine because I was living the dream. I had created a fashion app. I was pitching for millions of dollars, these huge projects, and then my creator field couldn't handle it. It started to break down. And so anyway, that's just another reason why these tools that I'll be sharing with you over our journey together are so potent and powerful, because it's our opportunity to rewire what was stagnate from 8 or 11. So a little bit of, I want to continue on with my story, but it feels important to offer a tool, a little bit of reflection for you today. An offering for you is to journal. From conception, from when you were born to 11, what were your experiences? What were your parents' beliefs around money, life, communication, what's possible? How did they feel about their bodies? How did they feel about their relationship with themselves and those around them? Did you experience a lot of death as a child? I know I did. We were so close with my great-grandparents, and that was all such a blessing. But because of that, I also had the opportunity and the journey to experience a lot of death early in life. And when our subconscious is developing, that death sometimes can make us feel like we're responsible. Like, is everyone crying because something's wrong with me? Or I did a little something. I made the family laugh and they're happy, so I need to do more. You know, these are a few of the core beliefs that just because of my circumstances, I started to develop. And that does not mean that we shame or blame or point the finger at our family or our past circumstances. No, no, no. We picked our parents. We picked our life. We picked our experiences. so we could get on our path and learn what we needed to learn. So take a minute, and journal about that if you feel called, because as we move on, it's so important to use what I'm sharing here to reflect and see how it can serve you. One thing that I've found through my journey is, well, a few things. Common sense and self-awareness are rare commodities. So we'll come back to common sense another day. But self-awareness really starts whenever we reflect, whenever we journal, whenever we take our experiences and we take the shame and the blame out of them. We just get really clear. Why did we do that? What do we want to do differently next time? That type of a thing. So continue on with me. Let's see. Where was I at in my story? So in New York, I finally found some tools that were really serving me, and my life started to change. I moved, pivoted from being in branding and marketing for fashion clients to doing branding and marketing for healers and wellness professionals. And it gave me the opportunity to work with some of the people that I looked up to the most in my journey. Marianne Williamson. I got to do a few events with Gabby Bernstein. I got to live and work with Teal Swan in Costa Rica, and the list goes on. But what those people taught me and gave me were more tools that I'm here to share with you throughout our time together. So I look forward to checking in again, and let me know in the comments below if you're surprised by some of the experiences and the beliefs and the circumstances that happened for you whenever you were young, because again, that's where our core beliefs are formed, and that is responsible for 97% of our life. I'll see you again